Hey, what's going on, everybody? Andrew here, back for our build review show. It is Wednesday, October 23rd of 2024. And on this show, I bring users builds up live on stream, giving them personalized feedback and advice about things that I think that they can do differently in their builds to help improve their post-contest sim ROIs. If you ever want to get signed up for this show, all you got to do is drop your DK username in the office hours channel in our Discord server. Let me know what sport and slate you want me to review, and I will add you to the list for the next show. But with that said, we do have a couple people signed up today, so we're going to jump right in here and get reviewing. First person up is going to be Derek. We're going to be reviewing Monday Night Football Showdown from earlier this week, looking ahead to tomorrow's Thursday Night Football Showdown and trying to figure out what we can change and improve to help them have better, stronger lineups. So let's get SaberSim pulled up here and let's jump into results from Monday's Showdown. So let's get SaberSim up. All right. And we're going to start in the contest tab, as always. All right, so contest selection is pretty solid, starting from the ground up, right? Dime time, quarter, $1, only putting so many entries in, only putting 40 in the 150, which is totally cool. So I don't think this is bad at all. If you want to mix in some single entry and 3 max, that could be good, right? Like the $1 single, $1 3 max, maybe even like a $5 single if you want to mess around with some of those. So getting a little bit of single entry and 3 max in here could be a good idea. Consider that. Now, let's go and study one of these. So we'll choose the one with the most number of entries, which is the mini max. So we'll check these out. So let's go over to users. Derek is our guy here. Interesting, says he has 58 entries, but maybe added some after the fact. So we'll look at people with greater than or equal to 58 entries, sort by sim ROI. So looking here, looks like Derek is negative 4% sim ROI. Does give us some room for improvement, but that's good, right? Definitely can change some things up and see where we can get better. So taking a peek here, what do I see? Salary looks fine. Average dupes is 17. Sim average score is 91.8. Typically what I like to do is come in here and look at users who have similar either like dupes or sim average scores. I'd say the interesting thing right off the bat is users around the same metrics here are actually grading out okay. You know, 91.8. If we go and find somebody with similar, we see another 91.8, and they actually have more dupes with 27 as opposed to Derek's 17 here. They do have 150 lineups compared to his 58. But that doesn't look bad. And then if we go and find somebody with a similar average dupes of 18 here compared to his 17, they have a 91.9 sim average score, and they're grading out about like 11% positive. So not 100% sure why they're grading out bad here. I don't think we're going to learn a lot more in the contest tab. So let's go into a build, see what's going on here. Okay. So one thing that stands out to me is I'm hovering over this build, and the lineups were built. It says 11:02 a.m. Now, I don't know if this is my local time or a different time slot, but let's assume it's my local time. You know, this would be about 6 hours prior to lock. It seems like some projections updated. I don't know if they manually adjusted Derrick Henry or if they just made the minimum and then projections updated and then they ended up moving, you know, kind of further away from him. My impression is that they just made minor adjustments here. You know, projections do update throughout the day. So I don't know how important this is. You know, we've moved away from like the final sim. So I think maybe something good to do here would probably be to set up notifications for sending an alert if a player's projection has moved by a certain percentage. Now, I think you could probably set this up to say like, hey, you know, send me an alert if a player moves by like more than 5%, 10% or something like that. So you could know like, hey, if, you know, Derrick Henry ends up being way different projected than we're showing, you know, then that can give you an indication to like come in here and rebuild lineups. I don't think that played a huge role here, but it's just something to be aware of if you're going to be building your lineups early in the day. I would definitely be putting on that notification. And then you can set up the mobile alerts so they can go directly to your phone and let you know about those things. So you can always find that via the help docs, go to tutorials, go to view more, and then just type in mobile. And you'll get this how to set up mobile SaberSim notifications. So that can be really good, right? So just keep that in mind. Now, what do we see here? Okay. Default, minimax salary, no filters, no rules, no lineup filters. We see a handful of minimax exposures, you know, max exposure to Kate Otten. We see minimum exposures to Henry, Justin Tucker, McLaughlin. So, you know, these don't look bad at all, right? They're basically saying, hey, I want to match kickers. I basically want to just play as much as the field is. Most of their adjustments seem like something along those lines. So I don't think they're bad at all. Okay, see, like this is a good reason. I think this one exactly is a good reason to have mobile notifications on. It seems like they had 2 lineups with Ryan Miller, and I'm pretty sure this player got deemed inactive. So this would be an exact reason to have this on to let them know like, hey, you know, you have players without projections or 0 projections. So you're not wasting 2 lineups, right? So that's an example of that. See a few more minimax exposures or minimum exposures in the captain. Again, these are directionally super impactful here. So I think that these are fine to do. Nothing in stack exposures, nothing in team stacks. All right. So for what it's worth, I do like what I'm seeing in the build. You know, I think a lot of this is good. Now, changes I would make, right? So the first one is set up those mobile notifications. You know, if you got to build it earlier in the day, that's okay. You know, make sure that you know, you at least maybe like make a sweep after inactives come out, which is like 90 minutes to game time. Other things I would do, right? Because I'm on the starter plan, I think that it is a good idea to do some type of geomean rule here, right? To account for duplication, to try and make your lineups less duplicated. So what that would look like is coming in here, setting up a rule that's an aggregate type rule, saying my own geometric mean no more than X. And then the way you solve that is you do a formula to figure out how many dupes you want to estimate for in the contest that you're playing. You got to kind of figure out what if you don't know where to start at all, start. I think that this is a very, very good video and could teach you a little bit about that. So I'm going to drop it here in the YouTube chat for anybody watching, and then I'll send it over to this user who we are reviewing. I think that can be really good. To balance out the geomean, I would also be using a projection filter. So come in here and filter out like the bottom 20% of lowest projected lineups with something that says show lineups with projection greater than X, and try and get this to, you know, be 50 to 100 lineups in the trash, somewhere in that range. That should balance out your geomean, and give that a try. You know, I think that you're not too far away here from having a positive ROI set of lineups. The other thing I would be doing is just, you know, making sure that the adjustments that you're making are good, right? So far, I don't see anything wrong with them. A lot of matching exposure to ownership and things like that. But if you're going to be taking big stands on players, I would probably be tracking those. writing those down and grading them after the fact and seeing if you're right, if you're wrong, and then you can go further to like, where is the research coming from? And, do you need to like update that process? But all in all, I don't think you're too far away here. So start with the rule, start with the projection filter, and let me know how that goes. And we can always review you after Thursday Night Football. So those are my initial thoughts, and I will send you over that support video as well. All right, good stuff there. Going to hit our next person, Gator here, who wants to review yesterday's NBA main slate. It would be our first NBA contest review of the season, which would be super fun. So let's get Gator up on the screen. Jump back to yesterday's 2-game NBA slate. All right, so starting the contest tab. Contest selection looks fine. I would have liked to see, some of the lower dollar single entries before the 12. I think it's like a 1, a 3, a 5, $3 3 max, so consider that going forward. But other than that, all the 20 maxes look good. Let's do the big quarter jukebox. And we'll do 20 lineups, sort by sim ROI. So good news, right? Top sim ROIs in this contest are like somewhere in the low 20s. And Gator is 17% sim ROI in this contest. So I think this is really, really good, right? Very strong set of lineups. Notice here, see, this is something I would be doing and paying attention to. Notice here on this 2-game slate, duplication is actually very high and very important. So going forward, if you're not accounting for duplication on a 2-game NBA slate, I would be making a note like, hey, I need to account for duplication on 2-game NBA slates. And although, I didn't like win or I didn't take first place and chop with a bunch of people, we can see how common duplication is even in your own lineups as opposed to others, right? So 16 average dupes, kind of high. You probably want to get that down and try and manage it best you can. I like some of these sets of lineups, like they sacrifice a little bit of projection, 249, 250 compared to your 252, but they're, 3 dupes, 6 dupes, 9 dupes, 8 dupes, right? Cutting that duplication in half there. So when you win, you get more of the first place prize, which is ultimately what you want to try to do. So consider that. They did run a late swap. Very, very good. So let's jump into the pre-slate build here. See what they did before the slate started. All right. Default minimax exposure, no filters, no rules, no lineup filters. Direct fill, 3 uniques, ROI. No minimax exposures. So pretty hands-off build here. The only thing I would mention is if they did do this in direct fill, which it looks like they did, right? Make sure that you're going through these contests one at a time that you're playing. So like, for instance, when you come in here to the save button and then you click the arrow to show you your list of contests, when you do it this way, we are averaging the ROIs across all 4 contests that you're in, which is why you see this average of selected contests. So I come in here, right? And it's like, okay, 1 quarter jukebox, 147% ROI, another one 237, another one 126, and then one is 222. So it does vary, and you want to do it on a contest by contest basis, putting the best lineups for a given contest into that contest, right? As opposed to putting lineups that grade out well on average across all 4 contests into your lineups. So the only difference I would do is I would come in here. I think target ROI is good. Uncheck the contest, check the top one, let the lineups resort themselves, and then take the best lineup for this contest, since it's the only one chosen, save it, and then go to the next contest and the next contest. And typically I would do this based on prize pool. So I did the single entry, and then it would be the 20 max, and then the lineups are going to resort, and then I'm going to apply my uniques. I'm going to fill these and then go to the next one, right? That's what autofill does. But if you want to have a little bit more hands-on approach, and use direct fill, you could do that as well. So just keep that in mind when doing direct fill. You basically don't want to use the average across all of the contest sims, and you want to try and be as specific as possible. All right. Other than that, good set of lineups. You know, those high sim RIs were like in the low 20s, and you were in the high teens. So I think you're doing a lot of the right things already. Keep duplication in mind on future 2-game slates. Shouldn't have to worry about it on a night like tonight, you know, big 10-game slate. So not something to be concerned about. But if you guys are playing like, you know, the night slates, the express slates, I would be keeping that in mind, right? And applying it to those type of contest formats. All right. Good stuff there. Going to move on. Next person up is going to be Black Mamba. And we are going to be studying NFL main slate from this weekend. So let's go back to Sunday. And let's go and look at the main slate. And let's get Saberson back up. All right. So hopping over to the contest tab. Very good contest selection. You know, starting from the ground up. Balancing single entries and 3 maxes. Only playing a handful of entries in some of these bigger ones, which I think is cool, right? Taking, you know, 1 shot in the flea flicker, 5 shots in the play action, you know, 7 in the first down. I think these are totally cool. So that's good. Clinton said screen is blacked out, so I will reshare it. Let me know if that helps. Just turn it off, turn it back on. Sometimes it works. So contest selection looks good. Very, very happy with that. Now let's go and study the contest where you have the most entries, which is going to be the dime package. And let's let this load. It is loading, but it is a big contest, 118,000 entries. So could take a minute here. This doesn't work right now. I will try it again. See something. All right, let's try this again. All right, let's get Saberson back up. And let's go back to the dime package. Just giving this a second here. Come on. Load the results. Let's see. What build did this come from? Okay, so everything was Brandon swap 1. Good to see that they're swapping their lineups before the afternoon window. That always seems to be important. Not 100% sure what build this came from. So let's do this a little bit backwards. Let's go into a build first. Okay, build 1, no lineups. Build 2 does have lineups. So I'm going to assume the lineups came from build 2. We'll review the results after I have an idea about how we can go back and review the results. But I don't want to be hopping around too much. So what do we see here? 5K lineups, default minimax salary, no filters, no rules, 2 post-build filters, projected score, and ROI. Those are good ones that I talk about regularly. We see ROI and average projection aggregate metrics. Very, very good. We see uniques here. We see target ROI. So far, so good. If I had to guess, I bet these lineups are probably positive ROI. couple adjustments here. One to Justin Jefferson, one to Juju Smith-Schuster. Other than that, not seeing any in the all tab. The only thing I would say is that, the Justin Jefferson one is a little aggressive, right? It's like 2x his exposure. So just be sure that, you want to do that and that, you're really convicted about that play. So getting him in almost like 50% of your lineups, not to say that's bad, but just, be conscious of that. Nothing in quarterback, nothing in defense, all stack types chosen, nothing in team stacks. Okay, so pretty hands-off build. I think they're doing a lot of the right things. Now I want to see if we can review those results. So it is a little blind, right? I'm looking at the lineups. I'm looking at the build, and I'm saying, hey, this is a good build, right? These are good lineups. Now it's moment of truth, did these lineups actually grade out well? And we've probably never looked at anybody this way, so it's kind of fun. And I'm really hoping that I'm right here. So let's try something a little bit different. All right, come on, lineups. Let's see if we can load. So we're going to try and pull up the dime package one more time. Okay, we will wait. See if this loads. All right, cool. Lineups did load this time. Super happy about that. Jump over to users. It was Jen... the underscore. Here we go. Gen0524. So this is great, right? 129% sim ROI in this contest. I thought they had a really good set of lineups just from everything that I was seeing in the build. And 129%. So some of the highest here are like in the 130 to 140 range. And they are right there, right? They're like a top 20 sim ROIer in this contest. So I think that they're doing a lot of the right things. I would continue to probably not make any adjustments to your process. Keep doing the same thing, and you're going to swing on the right side of variance here. But really good set of lineups. Saw all the right things, and I would continue with your process. So great stuff. All right. Those were the 3 people that signed up for the show today. Reminder, if anybody ever wants to get signed up for the show, all you got to do, drop your DK username in the office hours channel in our Discord server. Let me know what sport and slate you want me to review, and I will add you to the list for the next show. So appreciate everybody tuning in. I will see you guys tomorrow. So until tomorrow, take care. Good luck tonight in your NBA contests or NHL if you're playing NHL, and I will see you all then. So take care. Bye.